This video provides guidance to methane emissions reporting through the bulk upload method into OneStop to comply with the requirements in Directive 60, Upstream Petroleum Industry Flaring, Incinerating, and Venting. In case of any discrepancy between this document and an AER directive or manual, the AER directive or manual will take precedence. This video explains how to submit annual methane emissions reports to the AER via the OneStop platform. There are two types of data entry, manual entry and bulk upload. There's a separate video for detailed guidance on both performing manual entry and bulk upload processes. This video is focused on bulk upload of data. For more general information or information on manual entry reporting methods, please see the other tutorial videos in this series. Manual upload is best for when you have only a few facility IDs to enter. The AER recommends using the manual entry interface before trying bulk upload. Bulk upload allows fast submission of large quantities of data in an efficient and convenient manner. It provides the same feedback as manual upload when there are errors. However, due to the bulk nature, the error feedback is organized in a bulk format and may overwhelm new users who are not familiar with the types of common errors when uploading. To begin, log in to the OneStop environment. You will need login credentials and the methane role assigned to your account from your company's DDS administrator. For more help on this, review the YouTube video shown in the on-screen link. OneStop allows different user roles to be assigned by your company administrator. Your company administrator edits these roles via the AER DDS system. User roles can be differentiated by regulatory function or module. We are working with the Methane Measurement Monitoring and Reporting, or MMR module. For access to all functions described in this series of video tutorials, you should have the roles Search, Save, Submit, and Enterprise Data for the MMR module. For an overview of the user roles, please see the General Overview video in this tutorial series. To navigate to the bulk upload interface, at the top right of the screen, click Bulk Upload. Select Methane from the Upload Category dropdown. This changes the options available in the Upload Type dropdown, and it modifies what is visible in the Status or Progress table at the bottom of the screen. Click the Upload Type dropdown. You will see there are three types of uploads: compressors, fugitives, and volume mass. Volume mass is equivalent to the volume and mass fields for each of the emission source categories in the manual upload process. For example, the volume and mass field for pneumatic instruments would be reported in this upload type. Compressors is equivalent to the compressor inventory table that was created for each facility ID in the manual upload process. For example, the compressor installation date and pressurized hours are values that will be reported for each compressor in this upload type. Fugitives is equivalent to the fugitive survey and screening table that was created for each facility ID in the manual upload. For example, the fugitive survey date and number of leaks found are values that will be reported for each fugitive emission survey or screening in this upload type. Click on Volume Mass to change the upload type to the Volume Mass template. This action changes both the downloaded template when you click the Download Template button, and it changes which template the system will expect to see when you click the Upload CSV button, since there is different information in each template that the system will need. Click the Download Template button and open the Excel file that is downloaded. The template that has downloaded is a blank Excel file that has the correct column headers and some data validation in the cells to ensure correct data is uploaded. Users must enter data in complete and valid rows for submission. The system ignores blank rows, but rows with data in it will be parsed, and any fields not corresponding to the required formatting and data types will produce a corresponding number of errors. Errors are recorded in an error file that will be demonstrated shortly. Unlike manual entry, bulk upload does not allow partially complete rows of data, so any required data in a row that is missing will generate errors. To report no emissions, a 0 must be reported in the cell. Blanks are only allowed in optional or conditional fields. The AER recommends not to exceed 400 rows in each template to avoid instability issues when uploading. There is no limit to how many Excel files your organization can upload. In the case of a volume mass template, if you upload data for a facility ID that already has draft data, the new upload will overwrite existing data. In the template file, there are some hover texts to guide users with constraints or character limits for each field. Users should be aware that these hover texts and the data validation can be pasted over and thus do not completely prevent users from entering erroneous data. To retain the validation while pasting, ensure you use paste values in Excel to avoid pasting the formatting. Here you can see an example file that has been completed with mock data for demonstration purposes. There are some errors in the data that will also be used to demonstrate parsing errors. Users must save the file as a CSV or comma-separated value file. This is done by clicking Save As and choosing the file type as CSV from the drop-down in the dialog box. When uploading in OneStop, be sure to choose the CSV file that you saved and not the XLSX Excel version of the same file, since many users tend to save them in the same folder with the same name. Click the Open button and you will see an icon appear representing your file with a progress bar that slides to the right to identify upload progress. Once the upload is complete, you can click the green Upload button. The system will process the action momentarily and then will refresh the page. By scrolling down and reviewing the Uploaded Files section, you will see the file name that was just uploaded, the file template type, date, and status indicator. It will remain as in progress for as long as the parsing process takes. For large files, it may take several minutes, or during busy times, the process may be slower than is usual as well. You can refresh the status by clicking the Refresh Status button. This button is more convenient than refreshing in your browser because it prevents from having to choose the upload category again. The parsing process is asynchronous. This means you can navigate away from this page, log out from OneStop, turn off your computer, and the parsing will continue. When you return, you or any of your colleagues with similar roles in OneStop may check on the progress. You can also upload multiple CSV files sequentially and they will queue to be parsed in the order they were received, and you do not have to wait for one file to complete prior to uploading the next file. Once the parsing process is complete, the status in the table will change from in progress to either completed or errored. Completed means that all rows in the file were valid and the data from the file has been accepted into draft mode. To be clear, the data that were uploaded are not complete. They are simply in draft mode. The submission still needs to take place. This will be demonstrated shortly. An errored status means that one or more data fields did not pass the validation rules. An error file link is presented next to the errored status. You should download the error file by clicking on the link. It will download a CSV file that can be opened in Excel. The error files display errors found in the corresponding bulk upload file only. The errors are presented vertically and horizontally depending on the nature of the error. Row numbers are listed in the first column and denote the row of the upload file that had an error. In the example, row 4 had an error, and this corresponds to the fourth row of the CSV file. The first row is the column headers. The nature of the error is presented. Sometimes multiple errors are presented in a single row in this file, so be sure to check the text in all the cells. Use the guidance in this file to correct errors in your bulk upload file. Because the number of errors in a bulk upload file can be numerous, the AER recommends new users try and upload small files, 3 to 5 rows of data only at first. This will likely identify common and systemic errors that may exist in your larger data set. By correcting these in a smaller data upload, you may find it easier to use bulk upload overall. Once your errors have been corrected, You can repeat the upload process and ensure that the upload file gets the status of complete after the data has been parsed by the system. You should note that the most recent bulk upload overwrites the existing draft data for that reporting facility ID if you bulk upload the same reporting facility ID information multiple times. Next, change the upload type to fugitives. Click the Download Template button and open the Excel file that is downloaded. The fugitive template corresponds to the data fields that are required to be entered to report fugitive emissions surveys and screenings. Again, the data validation and hover text is there. There are also drop-downs in cells for survey or screening type. This is in place because the responses are text-based and must match the character and case order exactly to be recognized by OneStop as one of the valid responses. Users are reminded to avoid pasting formatting over these cells to ensure that the data validation remains in place and only valid data is entered. Save the fugitive file as CSV and upload as was demonstrated with the volume mass file. Errors are displayed again in a separate file. Now change the upload type to compressors. Click the Download Template button and open the Excel file that is downloaded. The compressor template corresponds to the data fields that are required to be entered to report compressor inventory. Again, the data validation and hover text is there. There are also drop-downs in the cells for compressor type and seal type. This is in place because the responses are text-based and must match the character and case order exactly to be recognized by OneStop as one of the valid responses. Users are reminded to avoid pasting formatting over these cells to ensure the data validation remains in place and only valid data is entered. Note, similar to the manual upload process, a reciprocating compressor must indicate the seal type as rod packing, throw count, and whether the vent is controlled, while centrifugal compressors must indicate the seal type and must leave the throw count and control indication blank. Save the compressor file as CSV and upload as was demonstrated with the volume mass file. Errors are displayed again in a separate file. You may log out during this process at any time, and information that you have saved will be saved in draft form until you log back in for submission. Other members of your organization may also search, edit, review, and submit data that you have entered if they have the required privileges in their role. You may review the rules assessment at this point as well by clicking on the checkbox next to the facility ID of interest in the recent activity table and clicking View Rules. The system will show the review status as if it were submitted based on the current draft data. There are two review statuses. Additional review indicates that a threshold has been passed, which could solicit a review from an AER reviewer. Baseline review indicates that this facility has not passed any thresholds for review, and it is less likely to be subject to an AER review. Edits made to any data prior to submission may change the review status of data entered in the draft. Only review status upon submission is used for actual review by AER employees. Reviews are not based on draft rule assessments. Once all data has been entered, you still must submit the entries. You can do this by navigating back to the Methane landing page, hover your mouse over Operate, click Reporting and Emission Reporting. The recent submission table will show a list of all facility IDs that have been uploaded. This may be a mix of bulk uploaded data, manual entry data, and may be from you or your colleagues. You may review all inputted data by clicking the checkbox next to a facility ID and clicking View. You may also search any specific facility ID you are interested in viewing. This can be done through the search dialog in the top right or through the methane emission reporting search dialog. Both have been demonstrated in the general overview video. To bulk submit, you must click the checkbox of any facility IDs for which the data validation passed indicator says yes. To modify the view of facility IDs, click Show and modify the filter or page extent. The bulk upload process automatically validates data as is done through the manual process, and thus any bulk uploaded data as well as any data from manual validated entries, will be valid. Manual entry data that is incomplete or otherwise hasn't completed the validation step will show as no in this field. After having checked all the facility IDs you want to submit, and you may click multiple at the same time, click the green Submit button.
If you get an error message saying all submissions must pass data validation,
Be sure the validation indicator says yes for all selected. Complete the contact information, declaration, and disclaimer page. Ensure the contact information references a person that the AER could contact with questions about the data. Read and ensure you understand the disclaimer. When you agree to accept the disclaimer, click Agree. Click Yes to confirm the submission. The annual methane emission report is complete for the facility IDs that you've submitted when you get a message in the bottom right of your screen confirming receipt of the submission. Congratulations, you have successfully completed a bulk upload submission. The facility data is now available for AER review. If you would like to view the submission after it has been submitted, the easiest way is by returning to the methane landing page. Hover your mouse over Operate, click Reporting, Emission Reporting, and navigate to the Methane tab on the left. Once you are on the methane landing page, you will see Draft Submissions in your Recent Activity table. By changing the table from Draft to Submitted in the top right, you can view recent submissions by checking the checkbox next to the submission. Your submission should be at the top. Click View. You can view the status of a submission at any time by searching it or by navigating to the landing page and looking at the Recent Activity pane. Click the checkbox next to it and click View to view submission information. When viewing a submission, you will see all the data as you entered it in a similar tabular format as it was entered. If there are any supplemental information requests from the AER, you can view them and respond in the Supplemental Information Request tab. Amendments. Amendments to submissions are possible and are also done through the one-stop interface. Operators may make unlimited numbers of amendments to submissions. The AER retains access to original and amended submissions in all cases. Amendments may be made unsolicited by operators as they discover new or better information or in response to a request from the AER based on review of the original submission. Amendments can only be made in manual entry mode. There is no bulk upload of amendments. Amendments can only be made before the AER starts a review. If the status of a submission is under review, users will not have the ability to amend submission. If an attempt is made to bulk upload a facility ID that already has a status of received or review, the facility ID that has already been submitted will be rejected in an error report with a corresponding error message. Thank you for watching. If you have any specific questions regarding methane emission reporting in OneStop, you can email methane.reduction@aer.ca.